Welcome back, Gumball fans! The Amazing World of Gumball is one of the wildest, most visually bonkers animated shows. But let's be real, even a masterpiece can slip up now and then. There are actually tons of mistakes hidden throughout the episodes, from disappearing tails and eyeballs to characters literally vanishing mid-scene. Today, we're breaking down the weirdest animation mistakes you never noticed. Starting with the Season 1 episode, The Ghost. We see Carrie taking over Gumball's body and turning into a ferocious little creature who eats everything in her path. But the animation error here isn't about her sudden food frenzy. It happens when we see Carrie's lunch tray. There's this odd brown food on her tray that she tries to eat, but obviously can't. Then, right after her chat with Gumball about why she even shows up at the cafeteria if she can't eat,
"Watching you two at lunchtime makes my afterlife a misery."
But Carrie, you like being miserable.
That's not the point. I'm hungry.
we cut back, and that same weird food is now green instead of brown. We see a similar mistake in Season 3's episode, The Fan. There's this cafeteria scene where Gumball and Darwin are just trying to have some lunch, until Sarah, the girl fully obsessed with them, shows up. When she walks over, you can see Gumball has this weird green food on his tray, probably peas or something like that. But as Sarah starts doing a bunch of weird and strange things, the camera cuts away for a second, and when we come back to Gumball, that green food is completely gone. Then again, 2 seconds later, it's back on the tray, out of nowhere. Now, unless Gumball somehow ate it, chewed it, and spit it back out perfectly, which, if you think about it, is completely possible because of his nature, it's clearly just a classic animation slip-up. But this isn't the only animation error we see in the episode. Only this time, it's the walking ice cream herself. Apart from being a living, cannibalistic ice cream, Sarah's features include 2 red marks on her cheeks. But during that cafeteria scene, they randomly disappear for a while. A few moments later, they're back again. She definitely looks a little different without them. But Sarah is just a side character. The show's animators did the same with the strongest and one of the most dangerous beings in the universe of Gumball.
Sarah, this whole thing isn't really working out.
Yeah, it's not you, it's us.
By which we mean it's you.
Wait, don't you want to see what's inside my locker?
Is this another one of your tricks? Why would we want to see inside your locker?
In the episode The Authority, Nicole totally loses it with Granny JoJo and actually hits her with a chair, only to find out it's made of plastic. Not surprisingly, that doesn't do so much, so she launches herself onto Granny to settle things once and for all. But if you pause at just the right moment during the fight, you'll catch a little animation error. Nicole's eyes turn completely white and her eyelashes vanish. Now sure, people say blind with rage, but that probably wasn't what the animators were going for. Just a small visual mistake that sneaked past. In that same episode, right after Nicole and Granny JoJo start fighting, Richard, along with all the kids, rush out of the house and jump into the car. As they drive off, Nicole hears them and goes after them. That's when we notice something odd. Her shadow. It's missing. Well, nothing major, just her entire head. And honestly, if you're not going to have eyes, what's the point of the head, right? We all know that the Wattersons have caused their fair share of chaos in the town of Elmore, from big disasters to actual fires. But that is still not a reason to misspell their name, right? That's exactly what happens in the episode The Complaints. The whole town thinks the family is struggling financially, so they show up at their house with a banner. But I think they made it in a rush because the family name on it is spelled wrong. It's missing one of the T's in Watterson. Do you think the animators did this on purpose? Or was it just an honest mistake? I'm pretty sure no one would notice this next mistake. That is, unless you're watching the episode frame by frame. In the episode The Microwave, Gumball and Darwin accidentally create a monster named Kenneth by microwaving a disgusting mix of snot, bird poop, belly hair from Richard, and sour milk. Yeah, totally gross. After Kenneth turns on them, both Darwin and Gumball suit up with the best armor they can find, a pen and a strainer. While Darwin is blinking during all the havoc, his eyes suddenly lose color and even his pupils vanish. Apparently, Kenneth's bite didn't just hurt, it eliminated the color out of Darwin's eyes too. But the next one's definitely one of the strangest animation mistakes in the show. In the Season 2 episode The Promise, there's a scene where Darwin's in the bathroom and ties the toilet paper together to climb out the window. Classic Gumball logic. At first, everything seems normal until you realize that the window he climbs out of has never been there in the first place. In earlier episodes, and even in most that follow, There's always been a mirror in that exact spot. The mirror even shows up again in later episodes, but it's different. But I guess the mirror doesn't just turn into a window, it also can change its position while doing so. In the Season 3 episode The Lie, where Gumball invents a fake holiday that looks a lot like Christmas, we see Simeon spying on the Wattersons through a window right above the bathtub. So apparently, the bathroom window just moves around depending on the episode. It's pretty cool if you ask me. We all know Darwin can do a lot, but let's be honest, he's not Flash. Still, in Season 3's episode The Name, he kind of pulls out something straight out of a DC movie. There's a scene where the Wattersons are driving under a truck and the top of their car gets completely taken off. Right before that happens, Darwin is clearly sitting next to Gumball, but in the wide shot that follows the incident, he's gone, like totally missing. Then suddenly, when the camera cuts to another angle, Darwin is right back where he was before as if nothing happened. Either he teleported or it's just an animation mistake. Honestly, weird stuff always goes down when the Wattersons get in that car. But that's part of what makes the Amazing World of Gumball so fun to watch. One episode from the Amazing World of Gumball that has quite a few noticeable animation mistakes is the banana from Season 2. At the start of the episode, we see Gumball's class sitting at their desks, but there's something wrong. The class looks way emptier than usual. Seems like even the animators noticed it, because in the very next scene, a bunch of extra students suddenly show up out of nowhere. Not only that, but some of them switch seats without explanation. For example, Carrie is now sitting farther back, and Terry ends up in what was previously her seat. Weren't even in the room at first, but now they just teleported in the class. It's a pretty wild continuity slip, especially if you're paying close attention. We can all agree that Banana Joe is one of the funniest kids, or well, bananas, in Gumball and Darwin's class, and when he becomes part of an error, it becomes even more hilarious. Toward the end of the episode, after the whole class ends up beaten and bruised, Banana Joe has a noticeable dark mark on his face, kind of like a bruise, which makes sense since he's a banana. But then, as soon as everyone stands up again, Gumball and Darwin still look shattered, while Banana Joe somehow looks completely fresh, like he just popped off a new banana bunch at the store. But when the camera cuts back to his face again during the moment when Gumball returns Darwin's pen, that dark bruise randomly reappears.
Here's your pen.
What?
Your pen. Look, it's got your initials on it. Wait. Oh, man. You know what this means?
So, was he hurt or not? Hard to say. In the episode The Bros, we see Gumball do something pretty unusual. He actually asks Penny to marry him. That's already a bit off, considering they're still teenagers.
Why are you sitting on roadkill?
You have made me the happiest man in the world. Good night.
What?
Damn it, that's supposed to be the last one.
Definitely rushing things a little. But the real animation mistake happens during the more extreme part of the episode. When Darwin rushes into the shed, he grabs both Gumball and Penny and jumps out of the window just before the place explodes. If you slow that scene down, you can see that one of Penny's horns disappears for a split second during the jump. It happens so quickly, but it's another one of those little visual mistakes that ended up making the final cut. Everyone knows that Gumball Watterson isn't exactly known for being a top student, and in the episode The Uncle, it's the perfect representation of him as a student.
First!
Yeah, my Uncle Mario gave me a lift.
What, in his go-kart?
Nah, he only races at the weekend. During the week, he's too busy with his plumbing business.
Wait, is he scared of ghosts by any chance?
Yeah?
During a hallway scene with Gumball and Darwin, at first Gumball is seen wearing a backpack, something he's not usually seen with at school. But then, the two have a quick flashback involving number 8 and some angry reactions. Once they come back to reality, Gumball's backpack is completely gone, and weirdly enough, it never shows up again for the rest of the episode. This isn't the only time we see things disappearing in Gumball's school.
Feelings for your own gain, especially if that's someone's Ocho.
Yeah, I get your point. But on the other hand, Mario!
In the episode The Responsible, Nicole and Richard are at the school for a parent-teacher meeting, and Richard's only wearing his underwear. Moments like these are the reasons we love Gumball. They're first shown sitting on a hallway bench waiting to be called in. Then we see Miss Simeon calling Banana Joe's parents. And when we go back to Nicole and Richard, they're now standing, but the bench they were sitting on has disappeared completely. We know the show is called The Amazing World of Gumball.
Due to you.
You get an F- in pen. Next. Oh, the Wattersons. Are you aware that your husband isn't wearing any pants?
Oh, look at that grumpy little face.
And, well, the character who's been the victim of the most animation mistakes is none other than Gumball himself. At the start of the episode, The Advice, Gumball and Darwin are just hanging out at school when they're suddenly spooked by a loud noise, and somehow, Gumball gets so startled that his ears end up in the wrong place. Suddenly he's looking like Quagmire from Family Guy. In the helmet, the entire Watterson family becomes obsessed with a simple paper that they believe brings good luck.
Gonna wear this anymore?
Why? I thought it brought you good luck.
Yeah, it does, but nothing's fun anymore. See? Watch this.
They're so desperate to have it that they start ignoring basic things like hygiene. In one scene, we get a close look at Gumball and most of his teeth have turned a nasty shade of brown. Pretty gross. Should we maybe give Gumball a break? Nah, I don't think so, because there are so many more to talk about. Apparently having rotten teeth, no mouth, or even missing pupils isn't enough for him. In the episode The Faith, he even goes as far as having a second mouth out of nowhere. Yes, 2 mouths. Next, in The Flower, Leslie starts hanging out with Penny a little too much for Gumball's liking, which leaves him feeling extremely jealous. This jealousy is shown by splitting Gumball into 2 sides, one good and one evil. In a scene where his darker side takes control, there's a quick animation error where Gumball's mouth vanishes for a second. Now let's throw one to Darwin. In the prank, both Gumball and Darwin prank their dad so hard that Richard goes into full revenge mode with some extreme pranks of his own. Gumball and Darwin get so scared that they lock themselves in the bathroom. Darwin tries to calm Gumball down and literally hands him his hand. Yeah, things fall apart in this show. Literally. And there we have it, all the animation mistakes from the show we could cover in this video. But honestly, even with all the errors in the show, it still remains one of the best cartoons of all time. If you stayed till the end, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell icon so you never miss out on any of our future updates.